age 1. His life centered around the family and his hometown. Born in his parents' home in the roaring 20s, he had a blessed childhood. His dad was a proprietor of the local grocery where the kids helped out after school. He had a loving big sister and 2 older brothers, followed later by 1 more little brother. He shared fond memories growing up of regularly roaming for miles around their small town, heading to either the Mississippi River or the creek to fish, or walking miles to the swimming hole on the other side of town. At 5, a dirt pile almost became a grave when the construction crew building the school across from their home started up the earth mover. He scrambled out of the way just before the dirt filled the hole he had been playing in, but his toy shovels became part of the foundation. By 12, he and his brothers were regularly driving their dad's market truck the 30 miles to St. Louis to pick up supplies for the store. At 14, a hunting trip turned disastrous when returning home, they had a head-on collision. The Studebaker lacked seat belts and airbags, but luckily was built like a tank. No one was seriously hurt, and he got away with just a broken collarbone. At 17, he joined the Navy to help fight in the war. His crew launched depth charges and torpedoes. He was on destroyers, first in the Atlantic, escorting cargo to Europe. Then after Germany surrendered, moved to the Pacific. His lucky streak continued, never having to engage the enemy directly. Side trips to Cuba, New York, the Caribbean, Hawaii, California, and places in between satisfied his wanderlust. After returning home, he never again wanted to venture too far from home for too long. He was satisfied with a solid job, a growing family, and daily joys of the small things of life, or a hand-crafted solution to most any problem. He hated cartoons and wasn't too fond of dogs. Not sure why, but growing up it never failed that a great episode of the Flintstones or the Jetsons would be interrupted with a demand to turn that thing off and come outside and hold the light while I fix the car, or hand me that Phillips screwdriver or the crescent wrench to tighten the nut on the plumbing. I hated the interruptions at the time, but thanks to my dad, I'm never shy about tackling most any home repairs myself. It's come in handy very many times. And as long as I've known him, I was only ever really mad at him once. And of course it was over a dog. And also, it's because he always let me get my way anyway. My parents celebrated 70 years of marriage just a week before he died. According to the Google, that puts them in the top 0.1%. When I was thinking about writing this talk, I was trying to think about what advice my dad used to give me or what words of wisdom he handed down that I would always remember. And unfortunately, I found out it's already too late. I don't remember. My cousin Joey, though, shared some great advice my dad gave him a long time ago. They were talking about life challenges on a camping trip, and my dad had some thoughts from his experience. Well, Joey said, dating is like fishing. To be successful, you have to be patient, have a good lure, and the right technique. And he had all those down. But what I remember most is my dad set a fine example. He wasn't perfect, but he was open-minded and knew how to listen. The values I saw him live were work hard, be dedicated, honor commitments, lead with encouragement, help however and whenever you can, never stop learning, and when you're playing craps, keep heartache and heart six covered. In the last couple of years, he wasn't able to do many of his favorite things, and he suffered a series of health challenges. Despite all of that, he never once complained. He often reassured me with gratitude and appreciation, and for that I'm eternally grateful. He was lucky to be really sick for only a few days. As he lay dying, I was surprised to see my life flashing before my eyes. I thought that happened when you were the one that was dying. But it was somehow reassuring to look back on the life well lived together with a man who has been a key figure in my life. And I cherish most every moment. As Maya Angelou has said, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. In the 56 years I knew him, I don't recall my dad ever saying, "I love you" to me, but I'm lucky to be able to say, I sure felt it every day.